But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It just looks like a chewing gum spat on blue ink.
Yep. Man, okay, BWT should change their, I don't know, whatever that's called, their punchline to BWT ruins everything.
Yeah. Hello, folks. This is going to be the last bite for Livery, part 3 of 3. Continuing into the discussion, we are your hosts. I am Akash.
And I'm Sarang.
And let's get into it. Sarang, pick a team out of the hat again. Come on.
I think let's start with my favorite livery so far, I guess. That's Ferrari. So
nice.
There we are. I mean, we expected a red car and they gave us a red car. So
yeah. Being consistent since 1950, sure.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts though? Like Ferrari?
I like it. They've gone to this darker tone of red is what it is. And I think they teased us with this black and red sort of combination at some point last year. Like I forget now when, but incorporating that into a full-time livery going into 2022, I really like how that black accentuates this now darker red, and the yellow prancing horse. So all in all, yeah, you're right. It's up there in contention. Oh, by the way, speaking of contention, I don't want to leave it to later, but folks, we're going to be running a audience poll livery contest on our socials. The fixtures are going to be up soon after the episode release. And you'll be the one voting, and we'll crown a livery winner. So stay tuned and check out our socials, and make sure you follow us on @F1 fanfiction everywhere. Coming back, I was saying. So all in all, I love the prancing horse, red, black, and yellow combination.
Yeah. No, what I'm loving about this car is that it's so clean in the sense that they have also kind of adopted a similar black band per se, at the bottom of the body, where they have like kept most of the sponsors. I think basically those are probably like the ones who paid less.
Fair.
Yeah, and then you have those with that on the body. So, but yeah, overall it looks very sleek. And man, like what I really love about it is the side pod. It looks like a dragon, man. Those scales, those grills, they really look like dragon scales to me.
And it's an interesting take on the side pod too, right? Like I don't think we've seen it in the previous 5 that we've discussed in part 2 of 3. And obviously the ones that are going to come up in this episode, but it's a different take on the side pod where it sort of dips in to create probably this airflow which comes back in and then flows into those vents and the slits that they've created.
Yeah. And also the way they have created the body as well. If you see the grills, the way it bends along with the side pods into that valley and then comes back up, man, it looks some serious shit. I don't know. Yeah,
that's true. What catches my attention though is the Shell logo. I feel like prancing horse itself is sort of shorter, smaller right in front of their air intake nozzle. And then the Shell logo, if you see from like a side view, is bigger than the prancing horse themselves. So that's an interesting one.
Man, the Shell logo is, earning the money. The horse is probably not as much.
Fair point. Yeah, I'll give you that. But all in all, like it feels like more of a toothpick shaped car to me. I think it's the same nose or it's got a longer nose, but there's something different that they've done with their nose too, because it feels like it's more pointier, more longer, or it's an attribute of having like a wider side body with the more flatter air intake nozzle, which makes the nose look a bit more longer. But there's something different in just the
No, I think you're right. It probably is thinner, and it probably kind of makes sense. So the air intakes as well, right, on the side pods are a lot thinner as compared to other cars. I think. Of course, they are wider as well, but I think for that they also have to keep the nose a little thinner to allow the air to go in and not be obstructed, possibly. And also the pointed nose kind of helps split the air as well. And also, if you notice, right, the nose comes right up till the last plate on the wing, which I don't think happens on the other cars. Like most other cars, if you notice, first of all, they have like a more rounded nose,
right.
And this is quite interesting.
This is a toothpick, it feels like. Also, I don't know what the regulations are on, I don't know what you call that, but like let's call that side fins on the front wing, right? I think where they've got the Santander logo and the AWS symbol. Do they feel like more heighted to you? Like maybe if the standard height is say 5 inches, this feels like it's a 7-inch block on the sides.
I would guess that section probably has some regulation, but I don't know enough. But I do agree it does look a lot larger. But I think that's probably because most other cars, if you notice, actually, even the Merc has a large logo. I don't know. But I do agree. It does seem a little larger.
Yeah, maybe then it's just the way they've branded stuff and like printed it that it looks. Oh, but that reminds me, dude, you gotta educate our folks on how they've done this nose bit different that you were telling me before you started recording, like a 2-part assembly.
That's actually quite interesting. So I read this article by Giorgio Piola. I don't know if you have heard about him. He's a pretty pretty popular technical analyst for F1. So, and he has those awesome drawings of his that he publishes, which is just too good. Anyways, I diverge. But he had written an article about this, basically outlining how Ferrari has bought in this modular nose concept, which basically, if you notice, anytime a car comes in with a broken nose into the pit stop, the mechanics, remove the entire nose right up till, up to like half of the nose, you could say. But for Ferrari, they have like split it into 2 parts now, so that they don't have to change the whole nose. Obviously, it helps a little in the pit stops for sure, I'm sure, since they're carrying lesser weight. But that's not the main feature. The main feature is that since they have since they've separated both of those 2 parts out, they have amalgamated the part that actually goes onto the nose, so that they don't have to do a crash test of new concepts of their wings every time they want to change it. So this way they save some costs, as well as that basically enables them to have a new wing for different tracks without having to do a lot of testing on that.
That's interesting.
Pretty awesome.
I'd be interested to see some stats on how they differ from other teams if that ever becomes public. It's a curiosity driven thing, because I don't think any other team's doing this modular design on their front nose. So I definitely want to see if this ends up being as advantageous as we think, and everyone's been speculating it's going to be. So
I think it might give them some edge,
obviously
similar to like what Mercedes got with their DAS. Right. Like nobody else had anything like that. So I'm pretty sure that's going to give them some edge, but let's see how much.
True. Speaking of Mercedes, I wanna take Mercedes next. They're back to their silver aero design. First things first, I'm glad there's no 1000 AMG written on the back of the body. So that's
no
good.
AMG vomit.
No AMG vomit this time around. So that's good.
Though I honestly, I'm kind of liking the livery.
It is good. It is.
Yeah, right. I thought I wouldn't, but somehow they won me over. That wing, man, that
Yeah.
wing, the rear wing just takes it away for me.
There's a side shot of the car taken from like a lower angle, and
Mhm.
that just makes the car look so sleek. It's long, it's elongated. You have that nice curvature, making it look like a racing car, and it's just so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yep. Yep. And especially uh, the way the Petronas blue like flows along with the black
Right,
through the body looks really nice. Even the wings, like the red Ineos in the inner plate of the wing,
right,
looks really nice as
right.
well. Though I'm not a fan of the red engine air intake. That still looks weird. It still seems, for what it reminds me of every time, like a Joker having like the red nose.
Oh yeah, that's true. Fair enough. Fair enough. Although
But
I do like the red streak that they've done. I don't know what they are calling it, but like the flaps that come over the front tires now. There's a, like
oh
a
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. That looks really
yeah,
nice.
red rim around it. That looks good.
Huh.
I wanna ask you about the crimps. Talk to me about the
Oh,
crimps
the
on the side.
crimps.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. That's something very interesting, and I think Mercedes had tested this back last year as well. And in fact, a lot of people, in fact, a lot of analysts had kind of pointed this out when they first bought this in last year, and everybody was kind of speculating what advantage do they have with that, because it wasn't very evident in last year's cars, but it seems like they were all along testing it kind
mm.
of for
Mm.
this year, and I guess they believe in it. So I mean, you see it so prominently right on their floor. The entire it looks simply awesome, I guess, like the
Yeah,
way they have constructed it, how the I don't know what that's called again, the intake flap, side intake flaps or something,
the front.
that like,
Yeah,
yeah, and then bend into, and you can actually, if you see a side view, right, you can actually see the tunnels going down, and then the crimp coming up, which is like further
on the side
pushing
skirts.
those, yeah,
Yeah.
pushing those tunnels together. I guess that's basically to create that low pressure area in at the bottom, which like will gain them the extra downforce,
Right.
I guess.
Folks in the audience, like if you know exactly or have some speculations on why those crimps are and what aero advantage they add, write into us. Let us know from you aero geeks out there, what value could Mercedes gain from these crimps on the side skirts. But the design itself, Sarang, is sort of interesting because they don't have these vents or slits or whatever on their main body. Their belly seems more tighter. It's like a racing toy car, which sort of like messes up actually with my noob aero sense, because
Right.
there is no outlet inlet sort of stuff that other cars have been doing.
Yep. Yeah, right. It's very confusing to me as well. Like everybody else, like, seem to have, some form of output. Like, for example, we talked about AlphaTauri last week, that they don't have a grill, but they do have like a wider rear of the car, so that kind of still allows the air to escape. But I guess that probably could also be some form of aero magic that they're playing, basically.
Right, but it's an interesting design nonetheless. On F1's own website, they talk about the same, where they've gotten like narrow pods, wider side channels, blah blah blah. There's a good article, but what I want to talk with you next, Sarang, is they've got these two images where it's a side image of comparing everything in lengthwise with Ferrari. And it's interesting how, the actual main body between the two tires is a tad bit longer for Mercedes as compared to the Ferrari. It's sitting a bit more down as compared to the Ferrari.
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
But the front wing, as we've already discussed, for the Ferrari is more pointier, so it's like punching
Mm-hmm.
into the air probably a bit more faster. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's
Quite
interesting.
interesting, right? This image. A lot of things that we see, you can actually play like that
Yeah,
21 differences game.
yeah. True.
but yeah, right. Like the air intake on the side pods as well. I think we had talked about this earlier. Like the Mercedes's air intake sits a lot more behind, almost uh towards the end of the side pod, actually, like the cockpit rather.
Yeah.
And Ferrari's is right where the halo starts. So yeah, that's pretty interesting as well.
Right. And then even like when you see those front air intake nozzles,
Mm-hmm.
the two
Mm-hmm.
nozzles, like it's so much flat and wider. Like
Uh-huh.
the main body on the Ferrari is so much wider versus like
Uh-huh. Yep.
Mercedes is quite narrow. Um, so yeah, going into a similar discussion. Let's pick its B team. I mean, it's not a B
Mm-hmm.
team, but Alpine sort of is with BWT is a B team, right? They've also gotten something similar with a tighter with a tighter body.
Man, you really pulled that off.
I did, because you know what? While I was saying that, my brain was processing BWT 2019 and like them copying Mercedes and them being called like
Right.
Mercedes.
Yeah. No, I can understand.
You see what I did there?
Yeah.
But Alpine, man.
Yeah. Alpine. Okay, first of all, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Why did you guys create a boomer car? I don't know. Okay, if anyone doesn't know, Boomer is basically a brand of bubblegum that we used to get back in India
Yeah,
long time ago. I don't. Is it does it still exist? Do
I
you know?
don't know. But you're
I don't know.
absolutely right.
Anyways, but
You're
yeah.
absolutely right. It just looks like a chewing gum, a bubble gum, spat on blue ink.
Yep. Man, okay, BWT should change their I don't know, whatever that's called, their punchline to BWT ruins everything.
Yeah, BWT, you're right. BWT needs to rebrand as a company, not as an F1
Yeah.
team, but as a company in Canada. Like they just need to be like, we need to sit this one in and be like, let's plan this.
Yeah. Also, it's a lot weird. I think there's a lot of confusion actually going on about the livery. So first of all, they showed renders of the first livery, which is like 70% blue, 30%, or rather 60% blue, 40% pink. And then there was this event going on indoors that they had, and then outside they had a show car, which was the other one, which is basically mostly pink and a little blue. And they basically said that the first two races will be with this livery and the rest with the other livery.
Right.
And on top of all that, okay, the story doesn't end there. They had another media day with Alonso recently, where they had the second livery, and the car that they have is completely different from the real car and the render. So they basically have three cars, or I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, probably there are two camps within the team, just to be satisfying everyone and politically correct. Maybe like, yeah, we'll run both of them. You be called the special livery, you be called the regular livery. You know, everyone gets track time, everyone's satisfied.
That makes a lot of sense.
but in all seriousness, I feel like them investing so much time in doing all of this, I don't know. I don't want to see how they perform on track, because been all over the place in the past 2 years, right? Like them having copied Mercedes to the T 2 years back.
Wait, BWT was part of it. Alpine wasn't.
I don't care. See, when I see this car right now, Sarang, All I see is BWT pasted everywhere. There's 2 BWTs on the front wing. There's 2 on the belly. There's 1 on the rear wing.
That's true.
I wouldn't see this car and be like, oh, an Alpine's going down the track. I'd be like, there is 4 BWTs on the track.
Yeah, man. Actually, if you look at the second livery, I'm completely convinced it's Racing Point.
Exactly. Right? Where is Alpine? Oh, there's Alonso in this. He's going to crib about the Renault engine. Oh, Renault's rebranded to Alpine. That's how many clicks it's going to take me to get to Alpine.
Oh, man. Yep. So, I totally agree with what you're saying. I keep looking at the other image, but as soon as I look at the, mostly pink car, it completely reminds me of Force India.
So there's just so much happening with this car that I'm just torn apart at this point. Like 3 years come by, BWT is back in the game. I don't know how they're gonna fare this year, but about the livery, right? Like they posed this new interesting engineering where they've got like a dual grille. Again, it's nothing that another team's done. So I want to see like how their air intake and then how their aeros play into this interesting dual grill slots that they have.
Yeah. And also along with those grills, another interesting part I think is that their side pod basically towards the back slopes down as compared to everybody else. Where most other side pods are like integrating into the back of the car.
Right.
But this is like still, very different.
Right. The side view of the car makes it look very interesting because then you have like this uniform curve going from all the way on your front wing to the pointed dips into the end.
You're right.
Right.
Now that you say it, I notice it. You see that very curved surface from here till the rear.
Yeah, it's unnoticeable at times because that BWT is blaring in your eyes, but the curve goes very distinctly. And then again, I keep coming back to this being like a Mercedes B team, but even these guys sport some skirting and crimping at the end, right?
Yeah. I think along with BWT comes some Mercedes technology.
Yeah.
So I guess that was part of their deal. But yeah, it seems something similar that they're doing, though not at the front of the wing as much as that they are doing at the rear of the wing, right? Like they have some, I don't know whether they're slits or like they're crimping it. Either ways, there's some features going on towards the rear floor, which is quite interesting.
Yeah. And just to quote, before we move on to the last one, like just to quote the F1 article, the engine cover at this point is obviously has the all new power unit with the new regulations coming in, which is what they are calling like a split turbo architecture. This was something that Mercedes introduced first in the first year of hybrid on the hybrid Formula era. So.
Well, there, yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, before we move on, I have to say something. How they have massacred my boy from last year's best livery to arguably the worst livery now.
Yeah,
the downfall has been tremendous, man.
I agree. This is for me in contention with like Alpha-Tauri monochrome.
Yeah,
I agree.
You know what? I'm not as mad with Alpha-Tauri anymore because at least their car doesn't hurt my eyes. This does. So.
Man. On a surprising note, like I saw Yahoo as a sponsor on these guys. Where the hell is Yahoo bringing in all this money from? Anyways, that's off topic of F1 at this point. But on to the last one. Williams. Dude, these guys are up there.
Honestly, I mean, in the first look, the car is not very spectacular. Okay, it seems like a normal livery, but once you like look at it and really appreciate its beauty, it like comes to you how awesome this car is. Because yes, it's blue, mostly just blue.
Yeah.
But the I think you had mentioned this earlier as well, especially the top view, right? Those V stripes that they have at the front. Yeah, that's Very
that
beautiful.
combined with the rare red backward pointing
Yeah.
stripes too. Yeah.
Oh, another thing I just noticed, if you see the way they have written William Racing, where Williams is white and Racing is blue,
Mhm.
that itself looks pretty nice on the wing for me. I don't know.
Oh, the rare.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. I like how they've used, I like how they've used the whole three blue tones and made sort of like a mosaic out of it on the belly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's overly blue, but it's still not overly blue enough sort of thing. So I like how they've sported and played with the red as well. Not going for like the Joker smile red, but
Right.
but they've just like skirted like a lipstick red on there.
Also, I think last year the car that they had a similarish design towards the end, using two different other shades of blue, but that wasn't as good, right? Like this year, what they've come up with is just spectacular.
Last year's was at least I'd say. I mean, they've been getting better, not just with their performance, but even with their livery. Because prior to that, I didn't like the whitish Williams that was there, and then they came with up with their blue last year, which was better, and then this year's better. And
Yep. I think Williams overall, I have high expectations from them, especially with Albon coming in. Like, I'm kind of cheering for him because I like him as a person. So I really hope Williams, delivers with their car.
True. On the car, though, there's another thing that sort of mimics their A team, so to say, Mercedes, which is again like a tighter body that they have, right? Like their side view towards the rear is just so aggressively narrow. The again,
and no grills again.
Yes, no grills again. Yes. It's the other thing I'm noticing now probably is how, if you see this F1's article, right, where they've done this analysis on the car, the first image where they show the side body, it's interesting how the exhaust on the back sort of dips with the body, and it's sort of pointing downwards to flat. That's interesting. And what they're calling is an underbody priority. So it's like a higher front wing, so as to sort of take in more air under the nose or whatever. Yeah, it's going to be interesting how these guys, I mean, like Williams, Mercedes, all these side vent player teams, how perform in the wind tunnel.
Yeah. And considering the fact that these teams, like the teams at the rear, like at the back of the constructors table, they received more time for the wind tunnel testing. So I'm pretty sure they have used it up to their advantage. And let's see. I mean, just looking at the car, it doesn't seem like they have anything special, but that just might do the trick.
Yeah.
So it seems like they have done a lot of work under the body, probably.
Yeah. Let's see. I think that sums up Livery Part 3. We're probably just gonna let Alfa Romeo get a free pass because these guys are just too late. We're probably not gonna wait for them.
Yeah, they are embracing Kimi's attitude, and they're like, we're not gonna show up for the media event.
Right. Because the track testing starts tomorrow as of this time of recording. So they are going to show up on the track, I assume. But they don't want to launch their car, which is...
Yeah, very, very weird. So I guess they'll come up with their last year's livery, I guess, which probably would and then they'll release it later. But I don't understand why, though. But anyways, maybe they need some more time for their homework.
True. Alfa Romeo, Bottas is there. We've got Guang Yu Zhao, Let's see. Let's get any wrapping thoughts before we sort of close this down.
I think couple of interesting things like I came across in the last few days. One of them was like they're gonna start having these what do you call, like show and tell sessions, where basically teams that introduce new aero bits or anything basically have to kind of do a show and tell so that audience kind of understands what upgrades they're going to bring in, which seems pretty interesting. I too am not sure where or when will they air it. I don't think like they'll show each and every part, but I guess they'll like pick and choose from it what seems interesting and kind of they'll show it.
To cut you off
seems like
there,
a very nice idea.
To cut you off there, like if I understood what you're saying, you're essentially saying that instead of experts speculating on what these aero changes are, it's like the teams come out of their garages and then show and explain, this is what we've done and, this is what it means.
Yep.
Oh, that's
exactly.
That's actually good.
Yeah.
That's actually good because we get to learn from them rather than have experts.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, no, that's what I'm quite impressed that they came up with this idea. I mean, I would love watching that. Like, that's pretty awesome. Teams themselves telling what upgrades they are bringing in seems pretty awesome. So yeah, that seems pretty interesting. Another interesting bit which I saw was I think Q3 rules have changed a bit, where basically they're not going to force you to use your Q2 tires anymore. So basically you'll have a free tire choice. That's going to really change things up.
So you could just go for a new set of tires and power through.
Yep.
I don't know how I feel about this one yet because it's new information to me. Because the thought in my head right now is, sure. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself in my head, but the thought in my head was like probably everyone gets new tires, so it takes off the edge of close racing. But then I'm also thinking like, sure, everyone has the free will choice of doing the same as the A team or being the B team. So then that also levels things up. So I think we'll have to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, I too am not entirely sure because I think, like, I kind of understand where they're coming from. Like, if they really want to make this a true competition, they have to have a level playing field per se, even from like other teams' perspective. Like think about if Williams gets into the top 10 somehow, they still suffer with the tire rule and are not able to, make best out of their opportunity. So from that perspective, it does make sense to me that, scrapping this rule is kind of good for other teams, but at the same time I feel that gap would possibly still increase.
Yeah, because Mercedes is also going to come back with the new tires. So.
Exactly. So I don't know. Let's see how it plays out.
I'm excited for the testing that starts tomorrow. Man, I hope there's just too much close racing this season. There's too much overtakes and everything. More so, I feel like I hope the aero plays a big role into how cars speed up and, cut through the field.
Yeah. Let's see.
Bytes was a good experiment we've done. Hopefully you guys have liked it, folks.
Let us know.
Let us know. Yeah, please let us know. You may still see a bite coming in, but that would be season 2. This is season, 1.5 or whatever you've called it. Doesn't matter. Next episode.
It's a ghost season.
It's a ghost season. Coming up next episode, we'd officially be going into season 2. It's going to be a surprise. You have no clue what's waiting for you as a season 2 banger. We've gone crazy recording that one for sure. It's a guest episode. Let me at least give you that. Guess who's the guest? I guess. All in all, see you in season 2. These are your hosts signing off.
Bye-bye.